Hello, welcome to the yarnyheart Fiber Art Podcast. I'm trying out a new video series. Does not mean that I'm going to stop doing game content. And in fact, I actually have another keyboard video that I'm going to upload soon. I'm in the middle of editing it. I asked you guys in my community tab if you'd be interested in seeing videos on this topic. Since my childhood, one of my longtime hobbies has been knitting and crochet. And even though it's not really what this channel has been about historically, I'm still very proud of the work that I do. And so I thought that I might try this out. There's lots of different fiber arts podcasts on YouTube, but I thought I'd try my hand at it, and I'm really excited to show everything to you guys. So a little bit about me, since this is the first episode. I've been knitting, crocheting since I was a kid. I had a very long break, especially during COVID. At the start of COVID, I was knitting a lot. I was knitting so much, just kind of as like a coping mechanism. I was stuck at home, and I feel like my skill really evolved during COVID a lot. But then I got a full-time job, and when I had my full-time job, I didn't really have time anymore to knit or do anything creative. So I had kind of a break for a very long time. And then semi-recently, we discovered the knitting and crochet and fiber arts community that had sprung up on Instagram kind of overnight. I was like, wow, there's finally like other people on Instagram, on social media, that are knitting and crocheting, and they're all posting their patterns. And this looks like a lot of fun, and it's really making me want to pick up this amazing hobby again that for such a long time gave me so much joy. And then I feel like I got a little bit of burnout combined with the added stress and time commitments that I was having, and it kind of fell to the wayside. But I decided to pick it up again, and since then, I've been up to quite a lot. And so I figured in this video I would kind of cover everything that I've been doing ever since making my Instagram, which you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is @yarnyheart, and I'm going to put it down here somewhere. You can follow me and kind of see what I'm up to in between these video updates. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first piece that I'm going to show off is this top. This is the Kira top by Got a Hook. It's a modified version of this top, because mainly the reason why I did is because before I took my break, I had this amazingly beautiful skein of Oink Pigments Targhee sock yarn in the color Desert, and I've been sitting on it for so long because it was such a beautiful skein. I'm not generally a fan of keeping things in my stash for too long. I like to use up all the yarn that I buy, but that's just a personal preference. And I had no idea what to do with this beautiful skein. And one of the things I really hate about working with variegated yarn is when it flashes and pools. I'm not a huge fan of the way that looks, and so I was on the lookout for a pattern that would do this skein justice. And I found this crocheted top. This was the first crochet wearable that I have made in a very long time. I used to make hats sometimes out of crochet, but most of the time I was making amigurumi. And so I embarked on this project. I lost Yarn Chicken. I did the two front panels, and I was like, oh dear, that's like pretty much this entire skein. What am I gonna do? So I found another leftover ball of the same Oink Pigments Targhee sock in a different color. I think it's Kernel Mustard is the colorway. And then I ended up doing the rest of it with that color. But you can see the back is very short. I believe the original top, the back is supposed to be like a full cover back, or it's like up to here or something like that. But it ended up being very short because that's about how much yarn I had. It's still very cute, and I do have pictures of myself wearing this on Instagram. I wish I'd wear it more, but quite honestly, I have to either layer it. I'm not super comfortable just going out with that cute little bralette and top look. I wish I could pull it off, but I'm not quite there yet. So this is the Kira top I Got a Hook. Next, I did a pattern test for Yalla Stitched. This is the Harriet cardigan by Yalla Stitched. It's super cute. This is the first pattern test that I've ever done, and so that was a very interesting experience, and I'm just gonna chat while I finish buttoning this up and tying on the little bow. But that was a very fun and interesting experience, and it kind of got me hooked on the pattern testing scene. One of the things I really love about knitting crochet too is like the amount of critical thinking involved, like when a pattern's not really working for you or something is a little off with your measurements, especially me. I kind of have very weird measurements, and like I say that lovingly because there's no such thing as a normal body or a weird body or anything, but I have some very like disproportionate measurements. I kind of go like very much like this. So it's really hard to find pre-graded patterns that fit me very well. A lot of times graded patterns it's like too loose in some areas and too tight in other areas, and that's a lot of the problems that I have with pre-made fashion also, which is part of why I got into making my own clothes in the first place, is because I can make them to fit my own body. Now that she's all buttoned up, here is the Harriet cardigan. I love all the details. It's so cute. I love the little bow. I love the way it falls. I love the collar and the ruffles here. And I love the little ruffle details on the sleeve. I made my cardigan a little puffier than most of the other people did, which is fine because that's how I like my sleeves anyway. So once more, give it up for the Harriet cardigan. She's so cute. And this was, oh, I forgot to mention, the Harriet cardigan, the yarn that I used was Knit Picks Heatherly Sport, and then the colorways were Teddy Bear and then the white one. I don't know what the white one's called, but you know, it's like, it's the white one. Next up, I did this knit along that Pearl Soho put together for the dumpling bag. I can't remember at the moment who the actual pattern designer for the dumpling bag is, but the pattern is available for free on the Pearl Soho website, and I'll link the pattern down below also. It's just this cute little bag. It's really cute. Like, I had already wanted to make this bag because I had seen the pattern highlighted on a Wool Needles Hands video where she was talking about different knitted bags, or no, it was about project bags, and then this came up as one of the project bags that you could actually make yourself, and it's super cute. I love it. It's actually a perfect project bag because it's knitted and it's just like stockinette and it's not like reinforced or anything. If you put anything heavy in here, it does sag a little bit, but that makes it a perfect project bag because yarn is usually not super heavy, and so kind of fills it out perfectly. So it's just a simple little knot bag. This was made with Circulo Charm is the name of the yarn. That's available on Amazon, but I picked up this skein at a discount at my local yarn store. This next piece is the Wildflower Dress by Crochet Corner PH. And then I can't get it on the frame, so I'm gonna put a little picture of myself wearing it right here. This dress is really fun. I had this yarn in my stash, and once again, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. And I've been eyeing this dress for a while, and then we booked a vacation to Oahu, and I thought to myself, okay, perfect. This yarn that I have, this like cotton thick and thin yarn, will be perfect for making a swim cover up. I went ahead and made the wildflower dress with the intent of it being a swim cover up. This was a little bit of a crunch to get it done in time to wear it, but I made it, and I wore it on vacation. I wore it to Lanikai Beach, which is a gorgeous beach. And what's really nice is like I was kind of like heartbroken about like, oh no, I'm gonna get sand all in this like piece that I spent so long working on. That made me really sad. But the thing is, the sand at Lanikai Beach is so fine that it's just like, it's just gone. Like, it just kind of fell out. So it's my wildflower dress. Super cute. And this is a currently ongoing pattern test for By Hazy Moon. This is for the Moonlight skirt. And I have yet to do a photo shoot with this skirt because it's like 5 million degrees up here in Northern California. 5 million is an exaggeration, but it's like high 90s, and wearing like a wool alpaca blend skirt and doing a photo shoot just does not sound that pleasant right now, but it's supposed to cool down in a couple days, so hopefully I'll get a chance to go out and do that. This was a super fun, simple knit. It took me quite a while because I decided that I wanted to make mine midi length instead of short like the original picture or the original prototype was. The original prototype was kind of like mid-thigh length, which is cute, but I have a lot of skirts that are that length, and so I really wanted to make one that was midi length. Especially with fall coming up, I just wanted something a little longer that I could wear in the warmer months, especially because I knew that I was going to be working with this yarn. This yarn, by the way, is Knit Picks Upcycle Alpaca, which is a blend of alpaca, wool, and recycled acrylic fibers. And so this is based off of a Hanfu style skirt And so it has the ties here. And then maybe I'll just take a little picture later and then like show myself wearing the skirt because I also can't get it very well in frame. So here you go. So that's that, the moonlight skirt. And it's very fun. It's super simple if you're a beginning knitter. Like a lot of By Hazy Moon's knitting patterns are catered very well towards people who are making the jump from crochet to knitting. Like I think it's technically labeled as like an intermediate pattern, but really I think anybody can do it. Like once you get past a certain point, there's another YouTuber, 100 Acre Wool, and she calls it TV knitting. I don't know if that's a common term, but she's the one that I heard use it. You just kind of turn your brain off. You're just doing like straight up stockinette and then reverse stockinette. It's just knit, 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 and then oh, pearls, pearls, pearl, pearl. And this is my most recent finished object. There's no pictures of this yet. And I've been working on this for so long, and Bernadette, I'm so sorry. But this is the Chihiro cardigan by Stitches and Burn. I've been working on this cardigan literally since I started my Instagram account, and I just kept losing yarn chicken. Like this took so much more yarn than I ever thought it would. And I just kept running out and kept running out, and then I have to like find more and then order more and wait for it to come, and then by that time I'm working on something else and like pattern tests and all this nonsense. Just it took me forever to finish this, but it should not have taken me as long as it did. But it's such a beautiful pattern. I love the little rosettes on the bottom. I ended up doing less rosettes on the back. I ended up doing them less frequently just because I kind of realized that if I was going to be like sitting, back against something, I didn't want to be sitting on like a whole bunch of little bumps. Gorgeous pattern. So the yarn that I use for this is a mono yarn, Sami, Sami, and I got this from a local yarn store. And at the time, I bought all of the lilac that they had in stock. Like I bought all of it. And so when I was starting this pattern and then I ran out of lilac, I was like, oh no, I can't even go back to the store because they don't have any more. I bought it all. So much of this process was just me tracking down different suppliers that carried this yarn in lilac, especially because lilac, it turns out, was one of their new and special seasonal colors. It was honestly worth it because I had a lot of the pink left, and then I was left with the decision of whether I wanted to just do the sleeves in pink and like call it a day. But I'm really glad that I was patient and waited to get more of the lilac because I think it looks really pretty all in one tone like this. There's one more time, the Chihiro cardigan by Stitches and Burn. And then obviously, as you can see, I've got lots of little dangly bits, so I still have to block it and weave in the ends. But it's pretty much done. Now I'm getting into my whips. So this, first of all, is one that I've shown a lot also, and it's still not done because like quite honestly, I just kind of stopped having fun making it. But this is the Goodfellow top. This is by Interweave Knits. It is a really pretty top. Like it's genuinely really pretty, and you're probably looking at this and going like, Jess, what do you mean it's not done? It's wearable. It's a shirt. It fits you. But there's another lace section that I'm supposed to do and like attach to the sleeves and then also to the collar. And it's a mirror of the lace section down below. And this is actually where you start the pattern. The pattern starts with doing this lace border just in like back and forth rows for like a really long time, and then you join it in a circle, and then you pick up stitches to build the body off of. And then what I have to do is I have to do that same lace border and then attach it in around and then 3 needle bind off to the sleeves. And that just sounds so extremely unfun to me. It's like lace knitting is fun up to a point until it's not, and it's like I kind of forgot how much I hate lace knitting. Like I love cables. Lace knitting always sounds fun to me until I'm doing it, and then once I'm doing it I'm like, God, why did I start this? So who knows how long it'll be. Who knows if I'll just give up and like weave the ends and call it a day and just wear it as is. But yeah, this is still a work in progress, and this is one of those like I have no idea when or if I'm gonna finish it, unfortunately. I've got other stuff to do. Well, it's August, which, believe it or not, means it's already Christmas knitting season. Like if you're planning on knitting Christmas gifts and you haven't started, now's probably a good time to start. I know, believe it or not, August is like the start of Christmas knitting season. So I am currently working on these Vila mitts. Oh, I forgot to mention, yeah, the shirt, the yarn for this is Kinsenko. Um, I believe it's Kestrel. It's whatever the cotton DK is, but and I mean the whole Kinsenko debacle is like a whole nother story. I purchased all the yarn for this and I knitted pretty much the majority of this before the acquisition. So these are the Vila mitts, distributed by Brooklyn Tweed. No, Brooklyn Tweed? No, that's completely wrong. That's a different pattern that I'm thinking of. These are the Vila mitts. I'll link the pattern down below. I think the mitt pattern is so gorgeous. I'm not a huge fan of the name, but I saw this pattern and I just knew that I had to make it. This is going to be a gift for a special someone who I will not name in this video so that it's still a surprise, but they're just so pretty. So they've got like this little twist cable design, and then in between the twists you have little knot stitches, and so it's just a really lovely texture. And then this yarn is Barocco alpaca worsted. So it's an alpaca and wool blend, and it's just really soft. It's so soft, and it's got that really pretty like halo to it. And I'm not sure how well it shows up on my camera, but there's just so much color depth to this yarn. In person, it's just this really beautiful, deep, like aubergine kind of color. And then it has a lot of notes of like red and blue in it. And the red and blue just kind of like make the texture of these little knots so beautiful. That's what I'm working on. The other that is kind of my second rotation project right now, a pattern test for Mon Amour Mona on Instagram. And if I'm completely pronouncing it wrong, I'm so sorry. But this is the velouette top. The test pattern went out literally yesterday and I just got so excited that I started working on it as soon as I got home from work. I started last night and I put a couple of hours into this. Not even a couple, I put like 2.5 hours into this probably. And I got really far. Like I made a lot of progress and it's such a pretty pattern. I'm so excited to finish this. It's got these little like flower motifs through it with skip stitches and chains. And it's just kind of like, I'm making the top version, so it will be like this, like kind of like a crop top and then like sleeveless. And I started this using, if you can't tell, I'm using the leftover from my moonlight skirt because I have like 3 balls left over. And so I was like, that's totally enough to make a top. And I started this, made a lot of progress, and then I kind of realized my gauge is super loose. Like these stitches are so far apart. I'm like, if I wear this, it's just basically gonna be sheer. And so I decided that I wanted to size down my hook and get a much tighter gauge. So I started over, actually right before filming this video, I started over, and I don't have much yet of the second attempt, which is why I still have the first. I haven't frogged the first one yet because I want to see how this goes before I frog all of that. But I've only done the foundation double crochet so far. But already, just from this, I can tell that I like this a lot better. Like the fabric's a lot thicker. I can feel a lot more bounce in the alpaca as opposed to it just being kind of like spread out like this. And so here's a example of, oh dear, I think I made this way too long. So here's an example of how much your gauge can make a difference. If I can get up close there, like you can see how far apart these stitches are and how thick and nice and tight the stitches are after I sized down my hook. And I don't think it'll take me very long to catch up to where I was, considering that it only took me like 2.5 hours to get a decent amount of the way through it. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. Well, gosh, can you see all that on my black shirt? It's not cat hair. I don't have a cat. It's literally just like alpaca fibers. Man, this yarn sheds so much. That's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Yarny Heart Fiber Art podcast. This is the first time that I'm doing this, like I said, and I'd really like to know what you guys think. I'm always looking for new ways to grow my channel, and I figured that knit and crochet is a hobby that I already enjoy a lot. There's a lot of fiber art podcasts on YouTube, and I figured, you know, that I have nothing to lose by just showing you guys what I'm working on. And hopefully you liked it. This is still very awkward for me to be just talking to a camera for half an hour. But if you like it, go ahead and send me a like. press the subscribe button, press the bell icon to get notified when I post new content, and leave me a comment. All of those things help me grow my channel, and hopefully I can get to 500 subscribers. I think that's a pretty cool and reasonable goal to set for right now. I did want to say thank you so much for 300 subscribers. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't sound like a lot, but to me it really means a lot that all of you are paying attention to what I post and really supporting me. So thank you so much for 300 subscribers. It really means a lot. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time.